Hi, Lillian the Vegan here with a recipe for strawberry cake. Doesn't that sound yum? And I'm going to show you how easy it is to make. What I've got here is 200 grams of plain flour, which I have sifted already. To that I'm adding 80 grams of sugar, which is a lot less than what goes into a normal non-vegan cake. And actually, even vegan cakes tend to have a lot of sugar in them. So watch the sugar. 80 grams of sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda, which I just remembered I forgot to prepare. So 1 baking powder, 1 teaspoon baking soda. Right, that goes in. And 50 grams of corn grits. I used corn grits in another sweet recipe that I did, and yeah, try it because the texture is really nice. This is going to be a heavy cake, a dense cake. It's not going to be airy-fairy, so don't expect it to be. 50 grams of corn grits goes in, and at this point you're just going to want to mix the dry ingredients first before you add the wet. Right, so that's mixed in okay. Then I'm going to add the oil, because you do need oil. 80 grams or 80 mils of canola oil or vegetable oil. I'm using canola oil. And then into that goes 100 mils or half a cup of soy milk. I'm actually using low-fat soy milk. Just mix that around. You don't want to be too aggressive, because as you know, when you mix cake mixture, you don't want to go too crazy. Nice and soft does it. Okay, and then the strawberries, because it is a strawberry cake. I'm using frozen strawberries. And the reason is because, as you can see, or if you can see that, there's a lot of liquid that comes out of these frozen strawberries once they're thawed. So I have thawed these. They've been out of the freezer for about an hour now, and they're still cold, but they're not frozen anymore. And what I'm doing is just using a little fork to mash them, because the strawberries are a bit big. You don't want big pieces in there, so give it a bit of a mash. I have used fresh strawberries in this recipe before, and although it was okay, but to be honest, I did find that the frozen strawberries were much better, so I recommend go for the frozen. And you can do this if you use frozen strawberries. You can make this cake any time of the year. Right, so the strawberries, 100 grams frozen strawberries going in, which have been thawed. Give it another mix. The beautiful thing about vegan cakes, well, at least my vegan cakes, because I don't put any bullshit, vegan butter or vegan whatever egg substitutes and stuff. None of that stuff I even bother with, because you don't need it. And because of that, I also don't need to get out my mixer and mix this and mix that, and it's all happening in one bowl with one spatula and one vegan controlling everything like she likes to. And then there's the lemon of 1 zest. That didn't come out right. The zest of 1 lemon, I should say. I forget how to speak English after 24 years of living in Japan and speaking broken English most of the time, so that people can understand what I'm saying. So forgive me if I screw up with the English, but I think you know what I'm going on about. So look at that. That's ready now to go into my 20 centimetre cake tin. And I've got the cake tin here. Now what I'm going to do is just oil it. You don't need to flour it. And I do that. I have my olive oil spray, which I like to use. Look at that. Spray that. And if you find that there's not enough oil on the edges, just go around it with a couple of fingers. Yep, nice and oiled. And in goes the strawberry cake mixture. Yum. Right, put that in. And I'm going to cook this in a 180 degree oven for about 40 to 45 minutes. Okay, 180 degrees Celsius oven for I already know the cake's going to be fantastic. 180 degrees Celsius oven, 40 to 45 minutes, in it goes. My beautiful cake is out of the oven. It's really hot. I've literally just pulled it out, and I have checked before I pulled it out to make sure that it's cooked well, and that is by sticking in a wooden skewer, and if it comes out dry, it's ready. If you still see some remnants of the cake, some wet bits on the skewer, then you know that the cake's not ready, and you can just keep, you know, putting it back in for another 5 minutes or so, and then checking again till it's ready. This cake took in all 40 minutes at 180 degrees to cook. Okay, and while it's hot and still in its tin, I'm going to pour over some sweet simple lemon syrup, which is another one of my recipes that you can check out on YouTube. If you don't have my lemon syrup, then that's unfortunate for you, isn't it? Because this is going to make it taste so much better. But if you don't, just grab some jam, preferably lemon or lime. You want to stick with the citrusy theme. So just get some jam, dilute it with a little bit of water, and you can use that also as a glaze. So I'm just going to pour this. I'm not going to measure it. Just pour it over the cake while it's hot. This is going to be a beautiful glaze for the cake, because as a vegan I don't eat dairy products. That means no cream, you know, none of that shit goes onto my cakes, and I don't need it. My cakes are yummy enough without it, but I do like to have the glaze on top, and it will, after I've cooled the cake in the fridge, it's going to get a little bit sort of crispy actually, which is really adds a nice texture to the cake. Right, so my gorgeous cake is ready, my strawberry cake. Let it rest on the counter at room temperature for 10-15 minutes, and pop it in the fridge for half an hour, and then it should be ready to cut. She is ready to go. Look how gorgeous it came out. It looks great, I think. So let me grab a piece and give it the taste test. My strawberry vegan cake with lemon glaze. Yes, it is looking nice. You can see you probably can't because of my crappy video quality, but there are red bits from the strawberries, so the colour's nice and moist still inside. Oh, itadakimasu, my favourite part, the taste test. Here we go. Without boasting, but I will. I would pay for that, seriously. I would honestly pay for that. And to think that it's vegan, there is not a single thing that comes from an animal in this cake. Bloody beautiful, mate. Give it a go. Hope you like it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.